What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Bob and Weave. Myself and the Weave
Hey, guys.
are back from our Mexican vacation. I don't know. Do I look tanner at all?
A little bit. And do you hear this, guys? I have a voice again.
Right.
It's been like 3 weeks without a voice.
This is going to be his excuse now for every time he gets sick because he has to go to a warm climate for a week to...
I had 3 weeks. I had no voice,
Right.
like whatsoever. It was pitiful.
Yeah.
I sound like I was going...
behind that, though, you know?
Pull that mic a little bit closer to... There you go.
I said there's probably some science behind
Yeah,
going
probably.
to Mexico when you get sick.
Man, I sound
Right,
like
yeah.
I was going through puberty.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. We had to take a week off. But so you hear another voice. So again, I'm Bob Ruff. That's Zach Weaver. And we are joined today by, I'm going from the hashtag on your Twitter, what you put, the stoner from Michigan.
Yeah, that's me, man. Yeah.
That is Freddie Miller.
Hi, guys.
Do you go by Freddie or Frederick?
Only my mom calls me Frederick, and only when I'm in trouble, right?
Right. So did you panic when they put the camera in front of you and told them it was Frederick?
Yeah, I was like, spell your full name. Okay, FredrickMiller. But and then I was like, oh, hold on, like,
Yeah, wait,
now
did you-
everybody knows my damn name.
Right, as you're there buying marijuana.
Yeah.
So today's episode is going to be about the legalizing of marijuana, which is a topic that we wanted to cover for a while, but we were waiting for we wanted to have the perfect guest on for that.
Yeah.
And then one day we turn on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and here is this guy, Freddie Miller from Michigan, in Niles, Michigan, which is where our studio is located.
Yeah, in our backyard.
Yeah. And as soon as I saw it, I text Zach, I'm like, we've got to get this guy. We got to get him to come in here. You became internet famous like overnight.
Yeah.
So what happened was there was a new dispensary. They a year ago they legalized marijuana in Michigan, and they had like a year before they had to get the regulations out so that dispensaries could actually open up. And the first recreational dispensary in our area opened, and there was a line forever long.
It's still forever long, actually.
Is it? Have you
On
been there a couple
weekends,
times?
On weekends, everybody just got paid on Friday.
Right. And they line it up, huh?
Yeah.
Have you been there more than those couple times that you were on the TV?
Yeah, well, we tried to stop by. I tried to stop by with my sister and my mom just because they wanted to see what it was like, right?
Uh-huh.
And there was like a line of like 70 people.
Holy cow.
Yeah, sorry, ReLeaf.
Right.
Tell me to put you on the blast there, but
Yeah, well, I'm sure they love it, though. I mean, that had to be huge for them.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's a good thing to have 70 people standing outside
Yeah.
your store. Right?
I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't open a business to have nobody there.
No, that's 100% true right there.
Yeah. And so their very first day open, they get put on the freaking Jimmy Kimmel show.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is-
got to be huge for them, too.
It's bananas, man.
It was I did the interview with WSPT, and then I didn't know that the video was on the internet. I looked at the article and I saw, okay, yeah, there's Frederick Miller. Yeah, little interview, right, and the writing and stuff. And then like a week later, I started getting phone calls and messages. And I guess Max from WSPT had posted it on Twitter. And Jimmy and his crew, they thought it was funny as hell, man.
Right.
So, yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to slide this over a little. It's right. It'll move right to you. There you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah, you sound
1, 2,
fantastic.
check. Okay, right on. Hey, I think so too, actually,
You sound really good there. You got a voice made for radio. Yeah, so I luckily you're a hard guy to get a hold of. You kind of blew it when Jimmy asked you for your Twitter handle in front of the 10 million person audience, and you're like, I don't know what my Twitter handle is.
Yeah, that was the best because you're like, I have Twitter. And he's like, what's your Twitter handle? And you're like,
yeah.
Well, now you can tell people what is your Twitter handle.
Okay, I actually got it right, believe it or not.
You did. It was
Yes, it was Freddie Lynn 91.
Right.
But in 4th grade, I made the choice to spell my name differently.
right. It's with an IE.
Freddie. Yeah. LYNN 91. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. Like 2,000, 3,000 people found me, but not the million.
Right. But yeah, I guarantee you, had you on that show said it was Freddie Lynn 91 on Jimmy Kimmel, you'd
Yeah.
have a million. You'd have a blue check
He
next to your
didn't
name
ask me to
already.
spell it, I could.
Right.
He was-
Well, you were a little flustered too because one of your heroes showed up on the show.
Jesus, man, that was crazy. I had no idea what was going to happen. No idea. Okay, so like, I've been on the phone with the producers, and they were like feeding me like interview questions. Like, here's what we just wanted to get to know you, so that Jimmy can get to know you, and then when you go on the show, yeah, Jimmy will do his thing, and that's exactly what he did.
Right.
And the writing actually was super clever too, because I mean, I had no idea that they were going to bring out, Alex Winter. Yeah, Bill from Bill and Ted, right?
Right, yeah.
And I screwed up. I recognized him from the Lost Boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, oh, dude, Lost Boys. Awesome. It's Marco.
Yeah,
And then I was like, wait a second. Yeah, Bill and Ted.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that was him from the Lost Boys.
Yeah. I'm a horror movie fanatic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, first and foremost, I mean, that was cool. Like, I want to meet him in person now, you know?
Uh-huh.
He tweeted me.
Oh, did he?
Whoa, yeah, Alex Winter tweeted me, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice time on the show. Great bit, right?
Right, yeah. Well, I was telling Zach when you were on there, because you got, because you just get that little bitty taste of it. First of all, I will say that they really fucked you when they played like you spelling your name and being confused about it, like you were a dummy. I will say from years of interviews with the fire department, the first thing they always make you do is spell your name.
Thank you. Like, I was like, you want to do an interview? Yeah, sure, bud. Okay, spell your name. What?
Yeah, right.
And yeah, sure. I might have been a little high, but like it came out of left field.
Right. As soon as I saw that, I knew that I was like, it made it sound like you were like just spelling your name for no reason. But they do make you do that.
Yeah.
We won't make you do that except for your Twitter handle, which is FREDDIE Lynn at Lynn 91.
Next person I meet, out in the public, I'm just gonna be like, hey, can you spell your name?
Right. Right. See how that goes.
Hi, yeah, I'm Freddie. Yeah, can you spell your name? Huh?
Yeah. Right. See how quickly you can do it when you're not expecting it. At least you spelled it right.
Yeah, well,
right. But so it was crazy. So what happened was it's called the ReLeaf Center in Niles opens up for business, and there was a lot. I didn't even know they were opening. I think it was my brother originally sent me, because my brother is also self-proclaimed stoner from Michigan. My brother Brent.
He's more than one of us.
Yeah. And he's like, dude, check this out. And there was this huge line, and then we saw that come up. So you're there. There was a story on it. As a matter of fact, it was probably the story that I watched where you were on it. I just didn't pay much attention to, because I was just looking like, is it really a line? Because to be clear, as we kind of move forward with this, I don't really know Zach's position on it. I know you're not a marijuana smoker. Have you ever been?
No, never been.
Have you ever even tried it?
Yeah, I've tried it.
Yeah.
Tried it back in high school. It just never was my thing, man. I just didn't. Made me sick. Like I never I like drinking. That's fine. But like anytime I ever smoked, it made me sick. And I was just like, I'll leave that to you guys. And I don't have a problem with it. I don't care what anybody does.
Right.
Like it doesn't affect me. Like if that's what you guys want to do, go for it.
Right.
I think it's great we legalized it. Mm-hmm. But it's just not. I'm like I'm gonna sit over here and have my whiskey tonic or my vodka tonic.
Vodka tonic.
Why did I say whiskey?
I don't know. It's been Tito's and tonic since I've known you.
I know.
I'm the whiskey guy.
I know.
You're the vodka guy.
See, I don't even know. See,
I'm the Keystone guy.
Caught me.
You're the Keystone. I heard you say you were drinking some PBRs the other night.
Yeah. PBRs, free PBRs, baby.
Right. Yeah. You've had quite a ride, But for me, I'm also not a smoker, more so than Zach. I have, similar to you, when I was in college, I went to college at CU Boulder in University of Colorado, and that was in the 90s when I was in school, when you were a baby. That was like the weed mecca of the country, right?
Yeah,
so if you don't know, Bob is like 67 years old.
And could you tell
Are
Zach?
you 100?
Yeah,
67?
Could you tell Zach that I'm not speaking to him for a little while? Also, tell him whenever he gets a chance to go fuck himself.
I think he heard you, man.
But
He's got headphones on.
Right, I forgot about the headphones. But when I was in college, I tried it. Everybody was smoking out there, and the first time I tried it, I shared a joint with somebody, and I literally got sick. I puked.
Yeah.
Did you when you were talking getting sick?
Oh yeah,
same
puke,
thing.
like puke. Yeah.
Super weird for me, and it was like, I remember I was tutoring someone in like calculus. It was right before I was going to tutor them. I hit this joint, and I always described it as I walked in. I still remember her name was Marianne, and she's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" Because my eyes were like completely red. And then I start helping her, and then I grabbed a trash can, and it was like I shat out of my mouth.
Oh.
It was the driest, most horrible vomit I've ever. It's like it sucked all the moisture out of my body. It was like, wah, and a sandwich came out.
Jeez.
I'm sorry, listeners. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Sorry you had to hear Bob.
We're going to get serious eventually.
We need a disclaimer on this. Bob
weed
disclaimer.
Ought to be legal. No one should ever have to go through that ever again.
Right, yeah. They should be able to go to a dispensary and get what's right for them. And that's what I didn't have. But so then I tried it, I don't know, months later and this was definitely a fuck up on my part because it was a water bong. My roommate had this 3-foot bong, and the guys would all come in. He was growing weed in the closet and stuff. And they would hit this huge. So I like used to watch them do it all the time, and I was mesmerized by and watch them like argue with each other about taking too much, like like bogarting the weed. And so like one day I was like messing with his bong. He's like, "Dude, pack it up," and I just had a hair up in my ass, and I was like, "Fine, let's do it." Loaded it up and filled this thing completely full and like a boss, and then right to puking in the trash can immediately.
Again?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I didn't do it again for 20 years, something like that. And then I mentioned you, I was a fireman for a while, for 15 years. I got out of the fire service, and one of my buddies was like, "Dude, come on, you can smoke with us now." I was like, I tried it, and it was all right. I just did a couple little hits off of a joint, and it was all right. Got a little high, didn't like it too particularly much, but then I smoked my brother's weed, and now I'm terrified to ever touch marijuana again. I was like at our deer camp, and he had his little blunt and handed it to me, and I hit like 2 hits off of it, and I was floored. I didn't get sick.
You're at deer camp?
Yeah.
So you're supposed to be quiet? You're hunting deers?
Well, only like this much of deer camp is out hunting deer. The rest of it is sitting around the cabin drinking.
Oh, okay.
It's really beer camp.
Yeah, we call it our annual beer camp. We never kill any deer.
Yeah.
Hey, I like that idea. Actually, it's hunting without actually hunting.
Right. Yeah. Right.
They actually killed a deer last year and didn't know what to do.
Like, now what do we do?
Yeah. Oh shit.
We just ate some of that for lunch.
It was fucking delicious too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do, man. I'd just try to bring it back to life, I guess.
Right. But it was
Take
like
it to the vet.
Right.
Sorry, man. I didn't know that this would happen.
What happened to him? He's got a bullet wound to the
Is
chest.
he gonna make it? Like, damn it, man.
But we, it was like I had to lay down because I was getting like the tracers.
Oh,
like
yeah.
And
I used to get heavy tunnel vision now.
Yeah, and I don't like being drunk. I like to drink. I drink all the time. I have beer a lot, and I'm a big bourbon guy. But for me, when I'm drinking, when I start to feel like that real heady like buzz, I stop because it makes me feel icky.
I want to interrupt for a second. And Freddie, Bob and I just went out of country together, and this is how little Bob likes to drink. We sat around one day, the whole crew of us partying in the pool drinking. Bob, in the middle of the day, went and took a nap.
You're so full
we
of
were at the. There's video out there. There's video evidence.
There's video of you saying I took a nap.
Me and my wife and Bob's wife and a Canadian couple we met partying in the pool, and Bob is napping in his room, nowhere to be found. I don't know what he was doing, but apparently he couldn't hang with us. But that's because he doesn't like to drink. I mean, he just said it.
The true story, Freddie, is that I was playing beach volleyball because I was tired of hanging around with these losers that were taking naps all day long.
Hey,
there's no evidence
who do
of
I
this.
trust here?
Exactly.
It's hard to tell.
Exactly.
It's hard to tell. Just listen to the
poker faces on.
Right. But I don't like that heady high feeling. So like where I sit now is I've had a couple good experiences with weed. I've had a couple really bad experiences with weed. So I just stay away from it because like if somebody offers me, I have no idea what's in that bag, which is why I was interested when the dispensary opened, when you were there. So you as someone, and as kind of getting into the legalization, I'm going to go ahead and assume that your first time smoking marijuana wasn't at the ReLeaf dispensary.
No. Yeah, geez. I was actually on my way to quitting.
Right.
You see, like we share something in common. Like, I like getting high, but I'm not like an all day smoker. Because I will go take a nap.
Right.
Midday, it doesn't matter how nice it is. Like, and it depends on like the different types of weeds, though. Like for me, like weed really, I describe it as it connects the batteries together on the ADHD circuit in my brain. So when I get high, I go like, oh man, like, and crazy.
So that's interesting because I've heard some people say that marijuana is a good remedy for ADHD. That it kind of brings that down. I wonder if it's different strains or just it just affects different people differently.
Oh, it's got to be different strains, I guess. Like indica will put you on the couch.
Right. Yeah.
There's no denying that. But like in terms of like sativa, that's like the most. It's heavy head high, right?
Uh-huh.
So you get like, I don't know. I guess I get like racing thoughts to where I have a hard time like paying attention to stuff. I can like sit down and chill out. Like I've been high for the past like 12 fucking interviews. Right. Like, I haven't had a sober moment. This is my first time. It's a sober interview, actually.
Are you sober now?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Well,
I live in New Paris. I ran out. Can't get any.
But now that you're back in Michigan.
Right. Maybe I'll go. We'll see what happens here and see if I can hit up.
Right.
I think I have weed in the mail on the way to my house. People have been very, very kind.
Yeah, it's so crazy. But so when you went to the dispensary, like, was it just because you wanted to check it out, or what is the advantage of because from what I've heard, you're going to pay more for weed at a dispensary as opposed to on the street.
Yeah.
So why would someone like you that is a smoker prefer to go to the legal dispensary as opposed to buying it on the street?
Well, man. First of all, I didn't know that dispensary was opening up.
Okay. Your dealer just happens to live down the road from there.
In town. Yeah, we both went and checked it out. I was at my sister's house, which is in Buchanan, and me and my family, my sisters, we like to drink. I know Keystone, Bud Light, we're cheap.
Right, yeah.
I like to say Bud Light tastes like family,
Right. It's Busch Light for me, but I can relate.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You fucking gross bastards.
It's terrible, man.
Zach only drinks Tito's. Just seen him at the resort, and they're like giving him vodka. I would like Tito's, please.
Yeah.
Don't even know what that is,
They said, fuck you, senor. You get the plastic
They
bottle.
did, too. They
vodka.
did. Plastic bottle. Then I caught him with the Belvedere at one time.
Right.
I said, it's top shelf there. We don't have top shelf. And then he pulls it out from behind. And I'm like, there it is. That's it right there. I want that one.
I see it.
Give me that one.
That's so funny. Yeah. But I woke up on my sister's couch. Jump back here real quick. Woke up on my sister's couch, hungover. I stayed up way too late, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, drinking, trying to finish Game of Thrones because I'd never finished it.
Right.
Yeah, and it was terrible.
Oh yeah, the ending was horrible.
Yeah. Anyway, that's another story, right?
Right.
But, then my buddy, who was up, he's getting ready to go to the dispensary, and I was like, well, "Sure, man, I'll go with you, right?" Yeah, I was hungover. We smoked, went to the dispensary, and then, the rest of history, And you asked a very good question on, what's the benefits, of going to a dispensary versus going to a dealer. In the dispensaries, like, okay, my dealer doesn't smoke. She's very well connected. She has like 100 different types of strains. Well, not 100, but you give or take, right? Yeah. And she's very, very she's a business person. She's young. She's smart. I won't drop her name.
Yeah, don't do that.
But she's awesome. I love her. And actually, she's hooked me up with a lot of psychedelics too. So super awesome dealer. But now, she doesn't smoke.
Right.
So she relies on her personnel to tell her, to give reviews of like, what type of weed this is.
And what type of high you're going to get.
And she'll send you like a whole freaking, she has a menu. But I wish I could drop her name. I almost did it.
We'll edit that little part out.
Yeah, thank you. But now the dispensary though, like those people know what they're doing. First of all, like when we went there, like all the master growers are there. They have their plants are in the building.
Mm-hmm. So they grow right there.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I know like with the ReLeaf, they had a hard time getting product to stay on the shelf, so they had to like import from like different people and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all like they've been I don't want to say stoners, but they've been in the marijuana game for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're looking for a trusted opinion on weed, and the prices will drop.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna pay like $20 per gram, which is you can get like 3.5 grams for like
on the street
$30.
for that.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, or even cheaper than that. Depending on who you are and who you know.
Right. Yeah.
But in terms of like the dispensary, that's where you can go. You can that you don't have to wait on a dealer.
Right. Yeah.
Like she hasn't hit me back up yet. Oh God, it's Friday. I'm trying to get stoned.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and I also feel like not knowing, but I also feel like if you go into a dispensary, you're getting what they're telling you you're getting,
and you know it.
Absolutely.
Because that's all. Everything has to be processed and go through a lab and certified before they can sell it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you buy it, from a dealer on the street, you're going to have to go to Leafly and you're going to have to look it up. And maybe, if you're a health conscious person, you look it up and check into it.
What is Leafly? Is you're looking up the particular type of strain?
Is an app. Yeah, Leafly is an app.
Okay.
They have, I don't know how many strains of marijuana there are in the world, but I think they have them all.
Holy shit, man!
And they have like thousands of reviews per each strain.
Mm-hmm.
There's like they'll have scales of, is it a mild high? Is it a head high? Is it 60% indica, 40% sativa? Is it a full indica, full sativa? And then there's graphs that show the effects. Happy high, mellow high, energetic high.
Because they're all different. Because that shit my brother gave me was called Gorilla Glue, which I found out.
You did lay on the floor for 2 hours, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
You were glued to the floor.
Yeah, you're familiar with it?
Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he said he doesn't know. He's like, it's called Gorilla Glue, I guess, because he
heavy indica.
Yeah, the guy he would get it from would write on the bag whatever strain it was, and he's like, he just like, give me a bag of good stuff, whatever it is, and it put me down. And they said they call it Gorilla Glue because it glues you to the floor for 4 hours, and it did. I was effed, man. I was out.
But sorry, I hope you're not letting me laughing.
No, it's fine.
I have similar experiences,
Yeah, with the Gorilla Glue or just with.
Yeah, well, Gorilla Glue, yeah, but like weed in general, man. I used to get back when I first started smoking, I used to get so goddamn high, to where it was like unfunctioning levels of high, or maybe can't even describe it. I used to get. Okay, I want to jump back real quick. Can I talk about the first time I ever got high?
For sure,
it's
man.
It's a funny story.
Go for it.
So, I used to go to a lot of punk shows in South Bend, and the Murder Junkies, that's Gigi Allen's band, were coming into town. Gigi Allen's been dead forever. You guys don't seem like you know who Gigi Allen is.
I don't know.
He used to cover himself in shit and throw shit on stage and whatnot and cut himself, and he was
weird.
Weird. He's fucked up. Yeah. And now, if you go to his grave, people take shits on his grave. It's like a way of honoring Gigi.
That's something.
Take a shit on his grave,
Right.
And but yeah, I went to the Gigi Allen show. He's dead. His brother was the singer for the show, and I met these 4 crusty hippies living in a van at that show, and they happened to be in South Bend. They were traveling to Niles because their driver needed to get his license.
All right.
And they had 7 dogs, and we hit it off immediately. I don't know. I'm a punk, I guess. I don't know, I listen to punk music. I go to punk shows. I like punks. And I like hippies, dirty hippie punks, right?
Right. Yeah, those are the best kind of punks.
Yeah, they were super cool. They came up to my house. We drank some beers, watched VHS tapes. That's all I have.
Right.
We watched Transformers.
Yeah, on VHS.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then they busted out this little bag of what looked like dirt to me.
You had never smoked before?
Never. No, I'd never even seen marijuana before. My family had smoked. My sisters are partiers. I wasn't. I didn't smoke or drink until I was 22, 23. So I'm not relatively new to this stuff, but I'm not, I haven't been smoking for decades.
Right, yeah.
But they brought this little bag, and I don't know, dude. I don't even think I got high off of it.
Yeah.
It was the mids, you can't even find it these days. Mids.
What do you call them, the mids?
Mids, yeah. Oh, it's brickweed,
Okay.
Ditchweed. Yeah. It didn't even smell like marijuana.
Oh, nothing like the shit you get. Not like Gorilla Glue.
But shout out to Dolly and Nick, and I don't remember the other twos. They had traveling names.
Oh boy,
I don't remember, man. They're super cool people though. And I smoked with them. That was my first time. But then I didn't get, actually high until much later. I smoked with my friends, and geez, dude, I used to get shit-faced high, right? I used to get this thing I called phantom limb. My arm just started moving, right? It's moving up and down, or my leg go like this, and it would just twitch. And like I said, it's probably I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but. I don't know. After 28 years of my life,
you've kind of figured it out.
Pretty sure I have a problem with attention span, right? Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to follow one thing at a time.
Right? Yeah.
Follow 10 at a time, right? But yeah, those were goofy times, man. I just getting baked to the point where I don't even remember what happened the past 6 hours.
Yeah. See, I don't.
It doesn't happen to me anymore that.
See, my last experience, which was a year and a half ago, when I smoked the Gorilla Glue with my brother at deer camp.
A year and a half, and you still remember?
Dude, it was the worst. Because my brother's always like, "Come on, man, you got to smoke," and I couldn't. I worked for the government. I couldn't. And then we get up to deer camp, which is just to the cabin. It's days before the season starts. We all went early. We always go a couple days early just to party. Just to drink a bunch of beer and whiskey and campfire. Just we're out. I mean, we stink horrible. I mean, there's no shower up there. It's a hell of a week. 6 guys piled into a little cabin. We're sitting around the campfire, and he's like, "Come on, try it." I'm like, "All right, I'll try it." So I tried, and the big thing was my dad wasn't there yet, because my dad definitely looks down his nose at smoking weed. Now I'm a grown ass man, so he's not gonna and it's my cabin, motherfucker. Like, it's gonna be, it's like everything's gonna be fine. I'm not worried, but you don't want to disappoint your dad, right?
Yeah.
So dad isn't coming up until the next day. So Brent convinces me. He's like, "Oh, come on, let's just try it." So and I hit it a couple times, and they pass it around, and not everybody did, but a few of us hit it. And then I sit down and I get immediately super duper high, but the way I imagine what high is supposed to be like everything's hilarious. I'm just laughing my ass off at everything, having a fucking ball till my dad pulled up, because he decided he was going to surprise us all and come up a day early. So I'm 20 minutes into being stoned out of my mind, and here comes Popsy, pulls up, and I'm like, shit. And so I'm sitting, and then he sits down, and now I'm the responsible one of the group. So Popsy wants to talk to me about fucking everything right then. So he sits down. All I'm trying to do is not let him know that I'm high.
He's playing the game.
Yeah, I just don't want him to know I'm high, and so I'm just trying to isolate. And of course, he pulls it. There's a whole circle, sits down right fucking next to me, and wants to talk about the plumbing in the cabin. And I'm just trying to divert. I'm trying to divert everything. He's like, "So, do you have any trouble with the plumbing?" No. Well, I thought it froze over. You didn't have any frozen pipes? Well, one. Where was the frozen pipe? I'm like, it was in the. And I couldn't take it. I was the worst. Never ever you want to be in a paranoid high state and have your father questioning you about the plumbing in your fucking cabin. And so eventually I was like, you know what? I don't feel good, guys. I'm going to go lay down. And I laid down in bed for 2 hours and just stared until I felt comfortable. I wasn't going to vomit anymore. And that was the last. And then, but so that's why when the dispensary opened, I was like, maybe I'll go check it out, because I've been to dispensaries in. I lied. I smoked weed after that.
You forgot, didn't you?
I forgot. Yeah, you ever forget? Just happened to me. Yeah. Well, I was in. I mentioned that I filmed a TV show. I was out in L.A. for 3 months, and recreational marijuana is legal out there. And I have a friend out there that smokes a lot, and she took me to one of the dispensaries. And to me, it was cool. Number one, the only time I've ever smoked is if somebody gave me some, because I wouldn't even freaking know how to. I would be afraid to. I don't want to do anything illegal, right? So I'd be afraid to try to find a dealer, to call a dealer, to go meet some dealer, and I don't know how it works, but I feel like I'm going into someone's house that I don't know. It's a shady situation, and then I'm traveling with stuff that I'm not supposed to have. So I'm out there; it's legal, and I went to one a couple years ago in Colorado too, and it was awesome when you went in, because I was like, I don't like a big heady high. I want something very mild, and they're like, oh, you want whatever strain, and then they'll sell you a little pre-rolled joint, or I got edibles when I was in Colorado that were the exact dosage you wanted, and I took it and got the exact effect that they said I would get from it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which was cool.
That's the benefit of the dispensaries, though.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at. Yeah,
to rely on a dealer, especially like you said, going to somebody's house, you don't really know,
right?
Or sending a text message to somebody whose number you just got, like, hey, you don't know me, but I know you.
But I know you, and I hear you got this stuff.
Yeah.
In Michigan now it's a little, because Michigan is now. I just had this up. Michigan now is one of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 states plus the District of Columbia that are fully legal recreational. Illinois just this past year went, and Vermont, Bernie Sanders. I heard you say that you're a Bernie Sanders fan. His state, it's fully legal. Maine, Massachusetts.
I didn't know Vermont was fully legal.
Yeah. What's it say here? Since when? Vermont is fully legal. Doesn't say when it was. But Michigan has the most liberal laws of any of them, which is strange for our kind of. We have a really mixed state because that's why we're always battleground states in the elections, because we've got big areas like college towns like Lansing, and you've got Battle Creek and Detroit with all the auto industry. You got these big towns that are heavy leaning left wing Democrat, but then the overwhelming majority of the geography of the state is farm country, and you know, and so there's a lot of right winging Republicans. So it's like 50-50. So, but we have in Michigan. Do you know all the laws in Michigan? You can. Do you know how much you can hold legally?
2 ounces?
2.5 ounces.
2.5. Jeez.
Which I just learned, an ounce of marijuana, if you take a sandwich baggie and fill it up till it's fucking full, like that big, that's 1 ounce. So you can have 2.5 of those.
And that's like bursting at the seams.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
2.5 ounces. I don't think I've ever had 2.5 ounces on me, on my person.
That's a lot of weed.
My stashes consist of like, I'll buy an eighth for this week.
Yeah, that'll get me by for the week.
That seems like a lot.
It is. It's banana. And you can grow 12 plants per person over. So like here in my house, my wife and I are both over 21 in this house. We could grow 24 plants. To put that in perspective, if you grow them right, you can get 10 to 15 ounces of weed per plant in the harvest. I mean, you're talking trash. You can grow your own trash bags full of weed in Michigan now.
It's crazy, right? Like, I'm pretty sure you would have got arrested 20 years ago.
You'd go to prison. You would
go to prison.
You're not going to the county jail. You're going to
trash
prison.
Bags. That's like, that's what do you call it? Trafficking amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think about a pound of weed is what, 16 ounces. Every ounce is this much. You know, the like a filled up quart bag. 16 of those, like it's a trash bag full.
It's a lot.
Is a pound. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so so Michigan is very liberal with it, and you can grow your own anywhere. You can have 2.5 ounces on your person. I don't think you can't smoke it in public.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it's like people can, and you also
I understand it. I want to respect other people's spaces, right?
Yeah.
That's
the same thing as with this, like the smoking. You got to be away from buildings, and there's really no public.
If I'm on like Lake Michigan, and there's like 40-mile-per-hour gusts,
right? Then
I'm not sure anyone is ever going to get high off the joint I'm smoking there.
Right? Yeah, it should be fine. Right.
Yeah. But like I wouldn't want to smoke outside of a McDonald's.
Right?
Like, what's up, kids?
You're going right back in and
y'all
buying
get your Happy Meals,
right? But they've got some other weird things in the laws. Like, so if you grow, when you grow it, you can grow outside, but you can't be visible from any public space.
Well.
So people can't see your weed. You got to have it like behind a fence, and it's got to be locked or something.
Most people are going to have theirs in like a grow room, right?
So you think so? And if it was outside, you think you'd have it secured pretty well because people will steal it. I have a buddy that grew some, and he's also not a smoker. He was just wanted to try it. And last summer, he grew 5 plants, and he's got like a government job. Like, he doesn't smoke at all. He just literally wanted to try it because he was interested in doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And he had 5 plants, and when they were almost ready to harvest, somebody came and stole 3 of them.
No shit.
Yeah.
And, oh my gosh.
We
gotta get some laws on this stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the next felony, is stealing marijuana plants.
Right.
Yeah. You could be like my old neighbors.
That's a lot of money.
They bought a whole house to turn into a grow house.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, that's right.
I lived out in the country, and we lived on a little dirt road, one-way dirt road. Nobody ever came back there, and we were the second to last house. And the last house on the road was vacant for years. And this couple bought the house, and they came and talked to my wife, and they said, we live in Tennessee. We're going to be here. We're remodeling the house, and then we're going to move in. And just like they said, there would be cars there every once in a while. No big deal. And then, lo and behold, my fault. I busted them on accident.
Was this the one with the dog?
No, this was the car that was parked weird.
That's right. Yeah.
So there was a murder here in town.
Oh, shit.
There was a murder here in town, and they hadn't caught the guy.
And here in Buchanan?
In Niles.
No.
So there was a murder in Niles. Mm-hmm. They hadn't caught the guy, and they didn't know what vehicle he had. So all of a sudden, the next morning, I get ready to leave my house, and there's a weird car parked on this road that no one should ever be on this road unless you live there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, this is fucking weird. And as I went down the road, it took off. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking weird. And then where the house sat, there was it's a divided highway off of this dirt road. And I watched the car go around and turn and go back the other way. And I'm like, oh, that was weird. And as I pull out, I watch the car turn back around and come back to my road.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, well, this is fucking weird, right? Yeah. So I called to report a suspicious vehicle. Now, I'm not a person that does this, but I'm like, I got kids and I'm worried about my house. And there's a fucking suspected murderer running around.
And you didn't know about the grow.
I had no fucking clue.
Yeah.
Right?
Truth, it pays to be honest.
So I go back. I end up dropping my kids off and go back to my house. And I get there, and there's 5 cop cars spread out between my house and that house.
Wow.
And my first thought was like, oh, they caught this motherfucker. You know what I mean?
They caught the murderer.
They caught the murderer.
Right.
And then one of the officers comes to me and they said, did you call about this vehicle? And I said, yes, sir. I called about this vehicle, and I went through the whole story. And they said, well, we can't find anybody. He says, do you know anything about this house? And I told him that, it's a couple from wherever. And he said,
nice couple.
He said, it looks like they're growing weed back here. And I'm like, oh, okay. But that didn't mean it. That's all they said. They didn't say it was anything. And then I left, went to work, came back. Everything was completely normal. Looked like nothing ever happened. And like 2 days later, my buddy sends me an article online. It's like, is this your neighbor's house?
Oh, no.
Then it was like 350 plants, 10 pound to process. Like, it was a whole ordeal.
Yeah.
100% my fault.
Wow. And like you said, now I'm wondering.
And I'm not a person like, I don't care. Like, I wasn't trying to narc on them.
I wonder
family.
I wonder if they had told you like, hey, we use this as a marijuana grow house. Like, would you have been cool with it?
I don't know that I'd been cool with it, but I wouldn't have narked them either.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I'd been like stoked, but I wouldn't have been
like reliable and trust,
Yeah. Like, I don't know that I'd been stoked because my kids live next door, but at the same point, like, I wouldn't have fucking called the cops on them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now they can do that. Like, while they can have 24 plants anyway, not that many.
How long ago was this?
Probably 2015 or 2016.
Oh man,
before it was legal.
Before it was legal, yeah. The guy got a slap on the wrist and nothing happened.
That's nice.
So,
yeah.
I genuinely do feel bad. That was not my. That was 100% not my intent.
Right, to bust
these guys. Like, there was a fucking murderer on the loose in a car they didn't know, and there's a weird car parked in front of my house, basically.
And you ruined their grow.
And I ruined their grow.
There's so much. That's my buddy who got his stolen was so upset because and I don't know, I've never done it, but he's like, you know how much time and attention goes into properly? Like, he's like every day trimming and training and watering and balancing pH and everything you have to do. He's like, I did that shit for 4 months and they stole my shit. Hacked his whole plants down.
Oh man!
Now you have. Did you mention? I don't know if you're comfortable talking about it, but did you mention earlier to me that you have charges from marijuana in the past?
Yeah, I'm comfortable. It's actually in the original interview, but it's the unedited original interview.
Okay.
Yeah. I talked about it for a minute. Because he asked me, where you're from, Indiana. Oh, what do you think about legalization in Indiana? Like, well, Jesus, man. Like,
would be nice.
Like, why are we still why are we still punishing people for this?
Right.
It's silly. It's asinine. It's actually archaic,
Right.
And to me, marijuana marijuana being illegal, I think it has its roots set in racism and discrimination.
Okay.
Now, for me personally, it was February 2018. I got off of work, wanted to go pick up weed, had to wait till 7 p.m. And I have a terrible driving record. I don't know. I'm getting it fixed, right?
Right.
Yeah. So and I'm an idiot. So I'm an honest idiot.
Yeah.
I took my plate off my one car because it was a bummed out car, and I put on my new car I just got and went to go buy weed, and got my weed on my way home, and then a police officer pulled in behind me, ran my plate. Hey, that plate doesn't belong on that car. And so I got pulled over. And I don't think that they would have found anything. They were probably going to impound my car. They wouldn't have found anything until he asked for my driver's license and registration. So I reached in my glove box, and on top of my registration is my pipe.
Oh, no.
It's not packed. It's right. It's not packed. Yeah. It's just, it's there. I didn't even smoke yet. So I gave him that, and I was like, he's like, are there any other drugs in this car? I was like, well, you know, if you hop in here, you'll probably find them. It's like you know, it's like a half of like green crack marijuana.
Right.
It smells.
Right.
And so they impounded my car. They didn't take me to jail, probably because they knew I'd have a hard time getting my car out of impound.
Right. Yeah.
He doesn't have his license plate.
Right.
Good luck. He doesn't have his, you know, registration. Yeah, you're fucked, guy.
Right.
Yeah, but that happened in 2018. Fast forward to last summer, I went to court for it, and I paid $365 to get a misdemeanor. And I'm like, okay, like I didn't think misdemeanors were a big thing. I thought felonies are the one. Like that's the one, you know, everyone knows what a felony and you can't get a job.
Right.
Misdemeanor, not that big of a deal, right? No, it actually ruined my entire summer.
Did it?
Yeah. I went from, I had a janitor job that I was holding on to. I was doing a weekend janitor stuff. And I got turned down from my local Dollar General. And they sent me back my background check.
It was because of the marijuana charge?
Because I have a misdemeanor for possession of like 7 grams. Or a half, yeah. But, oh yeah. Then so yeah, it got turned down from Dollar General, and then I had a janitor job at Goshen College, which I wanted so bad. I had a 2-hour-long interview there. I thought I was in. They give you like free 2 courses per semester that you're a janitor there. So you have 5 o'clock in the morning, get off at 1 p.m., go to class.
That's
they
awesome.
Give you a free lunch. You got free library, free everything. Yeah, Goshen College was going to. I thought it was going to be like, you know, that's my Goodwill Hunting moment. Become a janitor, get my degree, right?
Oh, right, for sure. Yeah.
I've always wanted to go back to college since I dropped out, but that job didn't happen. And then Aldi's turned me down. And
they're all running background checks and just from a misdemeanor.
Misdemeanor for marijuana. And like
wow, that's crazy. Like you said, I wouldn't have guessed that.
All I wanted to do that night was go home, smoke my weed, watch cartoons, go to bed, go to work the next morning.
Right.
Yeah. Be a responsible adult, right? But you know, now it's this Jimmy Kimmel has like reached his hand into the flaming fire that was my life and has pulled my, you know, little carcass out and set me back up, you know. Because I'm here with you guys now, and before January 29th when it aired, I think. You know, I unemployed, can't get a license.
Right.
Yeah, weekend janitor job at a factory. So now, you know, it's like the opportunities that I weren't available to me last summer no longer matter.
Right.
I can go and work in a dispensary in Michigan. Like,
oh, they'd love to have you as their poster child.
I get to be the drug dealer now, guys. I get to sell bud.
Right. Yeah. Have you had job offers to do that?
Yeah. ReLeaf. Like when I went back to go shoot the Jimmy Kimmel video, and they had set up everything for me. They had their tech guys set everything up. All I had to do was show up. They offered me a T-shirt, a free bong, free edibles, a job.
Nice. Did you take the job?
Not yet.
Because it's probably because you live an hour from here.
I live an hour from here. I don't have a license.
Right.
I have one. It's just suspended.
Right.
They don't let me use it. I stopped using it a while back. Like after the last time I got pulled over. Right. But they're super nice people though, and I would honestly love to like work with them. Everyone at ReLeaf is like the chillest, nicest people.
Yeah.
Just great, like down to earth. So far, I've only met down to earth, nice people, and it would be an honor to work at like ReLeaf.
That would be like the dream job. I'm sure. Well, and not just like not even like to be funny because it's pop, but like it's to do something that you're passionate about that's fun. Like that.
Yeah, you know, in terms of passion. Okay, I liked being a janitor. It was fun. I even liked working in the RV factories for a minute. But I've been trying to get into retail because I like talking. In fact, I think it's a nervous habit that I have.
Talking.
If there's an awkward silence, I'll just start talking.
Right.
I don't ask you weird questions and whatever, man. And so, yeah, in terms of like, ambitions and stuff, I wanted to get back into retail. And now I think I have, a foot in the door into like, the weed industry, selling weed, which is $1 billion industry.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
That's a massive financial industry.
Greatest cash crop I think the United States has right now, even though it's federally legal. Which, like, come on, guys, you're missing out.
Well, yeah, I wonder with this next election how because literally all of the besides Bloomberg, all of the Democrats. Yeah, I feel the exact same way about Bloomberg.
I'm going to throw my name into the election too.
Right?
Right?
I'm going to buy my name into the election. Is what he's done.
Yeah,
but I think he's the only one that doesn't support legalizing marijuana federally, because it's a massive cat. Like I'll be straight honest with you. The area I live in, they have opted out of commercial licenses. But I promise you, if they allowed commercial licenses, you bet your ass, I've got some acreage. I would have a building, and like I said, I don't smoke, but it's a cash crop. It's a $1 billion industry.
Mm-hmm.
I would for sure open up a brewery and supply dispensaries.
And they need it too.
Because there's a massive supply and demand problem. Like as a businessman, I'm like, well, there's an opportunity.
It grows like every 9 weeks.
But there's still that old school mentality, like here, like it's so, and maybe it's, and I'm curious. I mean, obviously we're all on the same page as far as legalizing it, and what's interesting is that's from two guys that don't smoke, and one guy that's afraid to smoke, and one that does smoke. It doesn't make sense to me that alcohol is legal, which is actually my wife took a class in college on. I don't remember what it was called. Basically, it was on like substance abuse, and literally the most dangerous drug on the streets is alcohol.
Yeah,
there are more deaths caused by alcohol than anything else. The withdrawal from alcohol is worse than the withdrawal from heroin. From people that are addicted to it, there are more people addicted.
You can die from alcohol.
Yeah, and just by ODing, like you can't OD on marijuana. Like if you smoked a joint as big as this bottle of water, you'd probably sleep for 3 days and throw up, but you wouldn't die from it. You can't. I mean, there's never been, to my knowledge, from what I've researched, there's never been a reported case of an overdose of marijuana in the history of the world.
Now I remember back whenever it was, I think it was 2014, no 2012. Is that whenever Colorado legalized? Was it 2012?
It had to be 2012, 2014, somewhere right around there.
Yeah. But I remember like there was a lot of articles like people these bullshit articles like thousands gone to like the hospital and stuff from like marijuana overdose. It's like
bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. Or like if you do go to the hospital for marijuana overdose, they're going to send you home.
Right.
Yeah.
Get out of the office. People are bleeding to death.
Right. Yeah.
So my thought on the whole thing though is what's the counterpoint? What's the counterpoint to it? What are the cons?
I think one con is,
because there has to be some cons out there, right?
I think one big con is it's very difficult to test when you're driving. So like with alcohol, you can do a blood alcohol test or even through a breathalyzer even, and it will tell you how much alcohol is in your system right now. But with THC, that stays in your system for weeks.
Yeah.
So you could get high and get pulled over 3 weeks later. There's no test to know if you're high or not. If they do a blood test, it'll show there's THC in your blood. So it makes it very difficult for law enforcement.
Okay.
I think that's one big con for it.
Yeah, I agree. Because like, I have friends who smoke and drive all the time. Like they have friends who smoke all day.
Right, yeah.
And they have lives.
Right.
They got to go do their thing. But I personally, and of course, I haven't driven in a while.
Right.
But, I've driven high before a couple of times, a handful of times. Probably a lot more than a handful of times. But I would not do it like we mentioned earlier, back when you for people who want to go try it. Okay, here's the scenario in my head. Excuse me. Somebody wants to go try out a dispensary. They get their edible, they eat it immediately, and then they have an hour drive home or something.
Right.
And could potentially be scary. Now the edibles, they're only allowed like 100 milligrams, I think.
Only 10 milligram per dose in 100 milligram packages. Like
correct.
Yeah. So you can get
I had 4 fudge brownies. Each one
was 10. Probably.
Yeah, not 10. I think in total it was like 10 actually. Yeah, because it was like 49.5 milligrams.
Something like
all
that.
4. Yeah, which is like a basic amount. But now if you were to buy like a pre-roll joint and smoke it in your car, get high as fuck to where you can't,
and you get high immediately.
Where's the park at, man? Yeah. Like, where's the drive? Yeah. That would be scary. I would not. I hope people are, smart enough to not do it. Like go home, sit on. I say this. I say pick and choose your battles. If you're gonna get I don't really like to get high and go to work because I'm not focused on my work.
Right. Yeah.
I'm too far in my head. I'm thinking about all kinds of stupid shit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're self-aware enough to know that.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the same thing for me. Like, I wouldn't want to get drunk when I have to do something important. You know, like days when I have to write an episode or something here for Truth and Justice. Like, I'm not going to get drunk on those days. You know, as a matter of fact, we have in the studio, we always have Bloody Mary Fridays, or Mike and I are in here on Fridays. We always have, but the deal is, on Fridays is the day we record our main episode. So after the writing's done, the recording's done, the editing's done, and it's off, our reward is the Bloody Mary. But I wouldn't do that when I still have that to do. And I think it's the same thing with smoking marijuana. Yeah. If you can be self-aware enough to know. Now, there's people, guys like Joe Rogan, who says there's certain strains of marijuana that he says he will smoke to help him focus. I don't know what those strains are, but you know, for like you know, like it makes you get lost in your thoughts. You wouldn't want to do that right before you had to do something important.
Well, I mean, you know, this is the first time I've been sober for an interview. So no, the other interviews, you know, it's always been fun. But that's because the people I'm usually interviewing with are smokers.
Yeah,
so,
right.
You know, it's a different thing to do an interview, sit down and smoke weed and talk.
Right.
Than it is to, you know, like you said, you know, go to work.
Right. So who have you
focus on something?
And I want to get back to the counterpoint thing.
Yeah.
But real quick, you've mentioned a couple. Like, who all have you? I know you were on Jason Lee and Cluck show. Like, what else have you done?
Okay. Oh. So we'll start off with WSBT. That was the first interview, right?
Yeah.
A week later, Jimmy Kimmel gets a hold of me. So we did that one. That's 2. And then, like, the very next day, a radio show from Flint, Michigan called me and wanted me on their show. So I did that. And then, that day I had to go. So I did the radio show at Flint, and then I went back to the ReLeaf Center for ABC 57.
Okay.
And we did an interview with a super nice guy, Samson. Samson's his name.
I want to talk to Samson. He knows.
I don't.
It's a half day.
Okay.
Yeah.
The dealer from
Yeah, Squirrel Master. So that's WSPT, Jimmy Kimmel, Flint, Michigan, ABC 57, and then the next day, the Mojo from Detroit called me. Mojo in the Morning. I hadn't heard of them before. And I felt bad because they invited me to like a pajama party the following week over in Ohio.
You're like, what?
Like, you know, guys,
Is it a radio show or a TV
else.
show?
It's a radio show.
Okay, yeah.
Mojo in the Morning. Okay, so I'm not the only one who hasn't heard of them.
No.
Sorry, Mojo.
Right.
And then, I think after Mojo, I went to the Jason Lee and Cluck show. And then I was supposed to do WCSX, a radio show from there, but we had scheduling errors. One of their hosts was sick and wanted to be there, and we actually haven't done that one since. So I messaged him today. I went through today and I messaged all my people, which is
I saw
that's
on your
a process. I
saw on your Twitter you went somewhere. You toured somewhere in Grand Rapids.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And the list goes on. Yeah, we went to Sky Mint Cannabis. Super nice people. That's a crazy facility. Like in terms of like big marijuana.
Yeah.
They've got a huge facility. All super nice people. They just had a camera guy follow me around for 45 minutes while we took a tour.
Nice.
And they just asked me questions. They narrowed it down to a really funny, like 1 minute long video. I can show it to you guys after or in a minute or whenever.
Yeah.
Super funny video. And then after that, I went to my local newspapers. And so I did an interview with a very nice lady, a journalist. I don't recall her name, Sarah.
Right.
And we did that was like the Advanced Leader, which is my hometown Ligoniers paper, Ligonier, Indiana. And we did the New Sun, which is from Kimmel. It's all like Noble County.
Right.
Are these names hitting any?
I
wasn't sure. Yeah.
Well, I saw you tweeted that you were somewhere and you got stopped and asked for autographs.
That's like everywhere, man.
Is it really?
That's awesome.
That's literally everywhere. Okay, yeah. Oh gosh, I went to the grocery store with my mom and my sister, and like immediately I got this old biker dude named Bill noticed me. Oh, hey man, how you doing? Yeah, loved your show. Me and my wife, think you're the funniest. And I thought he wanted to give me a picture, right? No, he just handed me a bag of weed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm in Niles, and I'm an Indiana resident, so I shoved it down my pants.
Right, and then stayed in Michigan with it until it was all gone.
Yeah. God bless you, Bill. Bill, again, another person I know his last name, but there's so many these days.
But it's crazy in Michigan that's actually perfectly legal now.
Shout out to Window Guy. He hit me on Twitter because we were walking downtown after leaving. We went to Frank Chow's Waffle Cafe. They're opening up April 1st. I'm very excited. They've offered me free waffles, so
nice.
It's like, dude.
Is that going to be here in Niles?
Downtown Niles. Right by the Social Security Center, like over by the theater, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, the old theater.
Well,
or like the Wonderland Cinema area. Okay, yeah.
It's over in that area.
Yep.
It's in that plaza. But yeah, that's going to be opening up. Yeah, we were walking back to our car, and first of all, these kids hit me up on a bicycle. Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? And then somebody opens their window. What's up, Frederick?
That's awesome.
You're fucking kidding me, man. Like, that is better than Twitter, man. That's better than somebody tweeting at me. That's the window call out, right?
Yeah,
that's cool as fuck. He recognized me from the window.
God, and you're getting recognized everywhere. You said you were telling me last night you went out for drinks and
went out to the bar, and we have one bar in New Paris, the Landmark. And so like everybody knows everybody in there. I only ever go in there like once in a blue moon to buy a 6-pack of Corona to take home because it's the only place you can buy cold drinks in New Paris.
Oh, is it? Yeah, at the bar. Yeah.
So they know me as the Corona guy. He's going to come in, buy a 6-pack Corona, lime, salt,
and then head home.
Yeah. But last night, dude, as soon as I walked in, it was like, hey, yeah, and the bartenders there know me. And so, yeah, dude, I immediately just started, hey, drinks are on us, right? Yeah.
Right.
And God bless the local volunteer firefighters who I did not know don't get paid. They just answer phone calls in the middle of the night. That's awesome. But yeah, they were having their meeting there and sat down, took pictures. They bought my beers.
Nice.
It was groovy, man. So groovy.
What a cool story to go
cool,
from just, especially it sounds like you were kind of really down in the dumps, a little bit at that before all this happened.
Man, I'm sure that sometime I'm going to be on Lifetime. There'd be like a docudrama about me or something. This loser from Indiana who just, no.
Well, what's funny is you said too. I mean, it was a straight chance because you weren't even going to go. You didn't even know.
No, I was not going to go.
So it was just a chance of him showing up.
Currently living at home, trying to get sober, get my license straightened out, get a job, probably get this thing expunged, right? And now suddenly it's like, hey, Freddie's the face of pot,
Yeah,
right.
Marijuana, yeah.
You're like,
it's
I'm trying
changed
to...
my life.
Yeah,
it has changed my life. Like total, these past 5 years have been super rough for me. So this is.
So what do you want? What do you want the next 5 years to look like? Like when the big spike of all this, Freddie the stoner guy, because we talked a little bit, you and I
had get a license, right?
Yeah. Well, we talked a little bit, like you went to school for like film and you're one of the reasons we want to have you on is not because just you were the funny guy. Because I was showing Zach the video, I'm like, I could tell by even though you've got this just like the most likable personality ever, but you could tell like you're a sharp guy. There were little quips you were making in that interview with Jimmy, and it's like he's sharp on his feet. The guy's no dummy.
I drank a 40 before that interview. Did you? I drank a 40 and a half. But I was so goddamn nervous.
Right, I bet. But so like what do you do with this? How do you take this and turn it into 5 years? Where 5 years from now you're in it, because the fame is you're gonna get, it's gonna come and go, and you'll be. You won't be Freddie the weed guy forever. In the internet, there's gonna be the next
Eventually,
big thing.
You can stop Googling stoner from Michigan and find me, right?
Right. Yeah.
5 years down from now.
Right. So like, how do you take this, notoriety that you've got right now, and the fame you have going on right now, and turn that into a great next 5 years for Freddie Miller? Have you thought about it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, initially I was just like, what the hell is happening?
Right.
Like, this has been the craziest 2 weeks of my life. Yeah, and 5 years down the road, though, I've never been one for planning.
Right.
I mean, not since I got out of high school, right? Where I was like, I'm going to go to college and direct movies by the time I'm 30.
Right. Yeah.
Now that's actually a possibility, maybe 2 years, 2 years away. But 5 years down the road from now, well, first of all, man, like, I want to know, you know, like from a monetary value,
Uh-huh.
I want to know how much I could possibly make off of stoner celebrity,
Right.
you know, over the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and my mom sat down and we were talking about like a lot of dispensaries have hit me up, and here in Michigan with the relaxed laws, they're opening up like crazy. The dispensaries
Right.
are opening up left and right. I've been invited to 2 grand openings, aside from the Niles one, right? You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and people are they're offering me money, like, you know, hey, come out, you know, and be here at the grand opening. And
Right.
it'd
be great to be like for marketing purposes.
I would like to do like maybe a YouTube series. Of where, you know, I just go to a different dispensary of the week. You know, dispensary of the week with, you know, the stoner from Michigan, right? Yeah.
I think that, you know, I was one thing I was going to suggest is, given you talked about the you know, earlier when we were talking about, you know, editing videos and stuff like that you like doing, and I think that with your personality and your wit, that would be like a YouTube channel. Yeah. Like a Freddie the Stoner YouTube channel.
I've got one, and actually my YouTube, my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter, they're all Freddie Lynn 91.
Freddie Lynn,
yeah,
for sure.
So
we'll hit him up.
I'm a very simple guy.
Yeah, Freddie Lynn 91, but that's smart. Good branding.
I haven't messed with YouTube in so long, man.
But you could totally do, you know, whatever, you know, you could put some content out there. Like, I'm sure, like we'll have a spike in viewership for this episode because you're on it. Yeah, you know what I mean.
That'd be groovy.
Yeah, and you could totally, you know, and we can for sure help you out, you know, putting some of that stuff together, because I think it'd be awesome. If you lived in Niles, I would tell you that you can just come here and you can produce an NBI Studios YouTube channel. You can walk here, you know, everyone.
I mean, you know, like your studio is a lot more put together than my room.
Right. Yeah.
I have a queen size that takes up half my room.
Right.
And then I have a dresser that's the other half.
Right. Well, hey man, I mean, we'll for sure work something out to we'll for sure work something. I'd be happy to help you, because I would love to see a success story, and then sitting here talking to you and you telling me kind of like how you were, you know, you were going through some struggles, and then with this you've got this fame and that you want to turn it. I think that you being like in the marketing side you make a great face for some of these dispensaries and things.
Well, thank you.
And I think you should totally be a content creator.
And that's the crazy thing though. It's like, I don't actually know what my fame is worth. Like, I'm a very, very, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty humble.
So it's like an oxymoron.
I've been told that I need an agent, you know, and that's like crazy, like, you know, an agent to, like, you know, hash out like contracts and stuff. And I'm just like, you know, I don't even have a license, man. Like, if you can get me right out there, I'll come out and hang out. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh, well, you know, I just, you asked about 5 years from now, you know, I would like to be making more than $20,000 a year, you know, which is like, that's
right.
It's like, you know, what you make at a factory here, in Elkhart County. I hate factory work.
Right.
I'm a terrible factory worker, dude. I tried to go back to Lippert, and they still had they still have me on their books, right? And my sister is a manager there, and she told me, she's like, yeah, it says you're a space cadet. Right next to me, and I'm like, fuck. They're not gonna let me come and cut their foam doors because I got too many of them wrong in a row. Or I'm a terrible factory worker.
Right. So that's not the job you're looking for.
Yeah. So in 5 years from now, man, Michigan is super cool. I got to move out of Indiana.
Right.
They don't even want me there.
Yeah, right.
I have a misdemeanor. I'm a criminal.
Yeah. Well, you know, you talk about like where you're going to be in 5 years, but I guess really the better question is like like in the next 5
I want to
weeks.
go back on Jimmy Kimmel, man.
Right. Yeah. In the next 5 weeks, 5 months, you know, what steps you obviously getting a driver's license back and things like that, so you can start to do some of these things.
Yeah. I've joked around with like, well, my sister, like, immediately she hit me up. She's like, you got to start a GoFundMe to get your driver's license back.
Is that what it's going to take, is money to get it back?
Like $3,500. Yeah. I got into an accident a long time ago, and I didn't have insurance because I'm an idiot. And he actually drove away fine. I knocked his bumper off. I hit his bumper and knocked his bumper off, but I didn't have insurance, and he was super nice about it. But then he went home and like a month later, I was like, oh shit, I'm getting sued for like $2,600. And I never just I had like a lot bigger mental health issues at that time were way bigger than $2,000 that I can pay back.
Right.
Unfortunately, it led to a suspension, which is like that's a huge livelihood. You have to have a license
Right.
if you're going to live in the United States.
Yeah.
If you don't live in Chicago or New York, or I've never been,
Right.
But yeah, like I know out here, I have to drive 30 minutes to get to Walmart.
Right. Yeah.
And like, which is why it was so crippling with this misdemeanor living in New Paris. I couldn't get a job at any of the places that were
one of the
my
6
town.
places that are there.
Yeah, man, it was terrible. But to me, a GoFundMe, that's for like people who can't pay their hospital bills.
Yeah, I mean that's admin. That you're not wrong.
I mean, if a million people watched that video and a million people donated $1, I don't know what I'd do with that money.
Yeah. Right. But I bet you, like to me, like I honestly wish there was a GoFundMe set up right now because I would plug it right now. Because for me, like a kid that's trying to reboot your life and to say, if $3,500 gets you a driver's license and gets you started to do something positive long term, yeah. I think that's a cause worth. Your sister needs to put together.
Maybe it's not too far fetched.
Yeah,
I appreciate your feedback.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, and we're just sitting here having a talk while we're on a podcast. Hi guys, remember you were there. I totally forgot. But yeah, really, man. I think that if your sister or somebody puts something like that together for you, make sure she gets a hold of me and we'll push it out because I think that's. I would love to see you take this and turn this into that 5 year from now. Freddie Miller is doing well and employed and just a happy guy.
I'll get a whole Freddy Krueger suit instead of just a sweatshirt.
Right.
Yeah, I would say if you're listening to this right now, make sure you check the show notes. Check the description on YouTube. If we've got to GoFundMe, we'll have the link there.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and look at and make sure you follow at Freddie Lynn 91 because I'm sure there'll be stuff there.
FREDDIE
right.
LYNN. Yeah.
So I have a little bit more of a serious question for you. Mm-hmm. How do you feel your family feels about your pot celebrity? Because I feel like that's not something that like
I have.
My dad wouldn't be happy.
Yeah,
about
and I don't feel like I don't know how I'd feel if my kids were that way. I'd be excited for him to have that celebrity, but at the same point, you're kind of like, that's a weird genre of celebrity to be. Like, how does your family feel about that?
That's the last thing I thought I'd ever become famous for, right?
Yeah.
But well, my mom's been super supportive.
That's awesome.
Super, absolutely, 100% supportive. Now, this is like the truthful moment where I was like, I didn't tell her I went to the dispensary. I don't even think I told her that I drank that night. Like, no, I'm pretty sure I talked to her about Game of Thrones, and how I was too drunk and it just was terrible. It didn't help.
Right,
I didn't tell her that I'd gone to the dispensary. I didn't think it'd ever be a thing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, who could have guessed that it would have blown up like this?
I read the email at like supper time. I live with my parents. I live with my mom, my stepdad, and my nephew. He's 18. And then my 9-year-old nephew lives down the road. Talking to him, that was the strange part.
No, I bet.
I had that conversation. We went to go pick him up from school. And he's like, I'm super proud of you that you're famous, but I'm not happy that it's about weed.
Yeah.
That's what your 9-year-old nephew said?
I was like, how did you know about the fucking internet, man?
Right, yeah.
Kids, dude.
It's hard. I have a 9-year-old. It's hard to have a 9-year-old nowadays. So does Zach. We both have boys the same age.
Yeah. We were at the dinner table. I didn't tell my mom.
Yeah.
I got the email. And even then, like I was like, oh, how do I respond? What am I going to say?
What email are you talking about?
Oh, the email from Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, gotcha.
From his producers. Thank you. Yeah, I got that email that night, week after the dispensary, and I just was like, I can't talk. I don't know what the hell to say. Right.
Right.
Like I didn't know how she'd handle it, so I didn't tell her. And then I'm sitting in bed and I'm so restless because the next day is Jimmy Kimmel, and I still hadn't told my folks. And then I'm like looking at Facebook and stuff, and it just starts blowing up immediately. Like,
right.
Yeah, on Twitter, like there was like, this is before Jimmy Kimmel. There was already like 1,500 views the night that Max had posted it. And then I started getting tagged in on Facebook and shit. And I'm like, fuck, my mom already knows.
Yeah. Right. She has to.
She's going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Like,
right.
I'm like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning right now. I'm like, fuck. Like, I can't sleep. But so I got up and then I saw her 2 minutes before she went out the door to go to work. And I was like, hey, Mom. She was like, hey, I saw your interview. And I was like, oh.
Oh, that?
Yeah, I was like, you saw that? Yeah, okay, yeah. And she's like, yeah, it was really funny. And I was like, well, I'm going on Jimmy Kimmel tonight.
Oh, man.
I'm going to drop a mic. Jesus Christ. You're doing what?
Yeah, I just got to go take care of patients at the wound care center.
Right.
But we all got to watch it live, though, and it was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so, it gets even, I told you, like, I was at, in public. Well, maybe I didn't. Yeah, somebody give me a bag of weed, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I shoved that down my pants. I didn't tell my mom about it either because we were in the grocery store.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't tell your mom those things.
You got a bag of weed in your pants.
Yeah. So like, and like she was getting ready to leave that day, and I reached into my pants. I was like, "Hold on, Mom." I was like, "Check this out." She's like, "What are you doing?" And I pull a bag of weed out of my pants. I was like, "Somebody gifted this to me in the store, right?" She just laughed. Like, I think she finds it as funny, as I do.
It wasn't a secret to her that you smoke weed.
No. I mean, that's why I live with them.
Right. That's freaking awesome.
Fucking real, man. But like I said, I was trying to get sober.
Right.
Put my life back together, not in this fashion or form.
Right.
But here we are.
I genuinely, we're about out of time because Zach's got to run to pick his kids up. But
awesome.
I really appreciate you coming, and I genuinely hope you're able to use this as a springboard to get yourself wherever you want to be. To get there, because I think it's a pretty amazing opportunity that you fell into. And by the way, it's definitely chance and luck that you were on there, but it's not chance or luck that you had the personality that attracted everybody. I mean, there's something to be said for that, and that personality can be put to good use somewhere.
Thanks, man. That means a lot.
So I think we have one last thing we want to do before we wrap up.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this part.
I didn't forget about it.
Okay,
go ahead.
Oh, I thought I want to do real quick, because we have 10 minutes before you got to go. Mm-hmm. We want to do real quick Freddie's thoughts on.
Okay, this sounds fun. Right on.
So the first one I thought of is Freddie's thoughts on favorite candy bar.
Favorite candy bar. Three Musketeers.
Why?
To go with a cherry Coke. Oh, why? Oh man, well, there's like nothing better than it's like so all those other candy bars are shit.
Right.
Okay? Now the Three Musketeers. Musketeer is a French word, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay.
To me, it's a French pastry.
Okay.
Chocolate French delight. Like you bite into it, it's not crunchy, it's smooth, it's just delicious, and it'll melt in your mouth. Unlike Snickers, or, I don't know.
Right, those nuts get in the way.
Yeah, you can't melt nuts with your saliva, The nuts get in the way.
So we have a hot debate on Bob and Weave. Which way do you put the toilet paper on the roll? Which way does it fold? Out the front or out the back?
It depends on if you have a cat.
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
Yeah, that's totally true. Or if you have a little kid in your house, like a toddler.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
What a good answer.
No,
that's so crazy, because that was exactly Bob's answer.
Yeah. Now, in terms of toilet paper, though, like, what's the next question? I'm about to ramble, dude. Wait.
No, I want to know this because I have a very strong opinion about this, and I think you might too. No, type of toilet paper, brand of toilet paper. Do you have a favorite?
Man, so I was a janitor, dude. I have like a year and a half worth of supplies of like factory grade toilet paper, but it's not bad, and it comes in rolls like this. I'm talking like, and it's actually not bad, like if it can wipe 300 asses in a 24-hour period, it's good enough for mine,
right?
But now I do like the soft stuff, but there's a thing that where like when you try to like you roll it up and you go to like grab it, you don't want it to like slide on your hands.
Right, you want a little traction there.
Yeah, traction. Yeah, so there's got to be like some type of grain inside of it, right?
Right.
Yeah, or you end up.
That I've never done.
No.
See, I'm an angel.
I got it from my teachers.
I'm an Angel Soft guy. Because, obviously you don't want that one ply that's like sandpaper, but you can't go too high. You go that high quality stuff, like some Charmin. Like if you're like, I use Charmin.
Why'd you look at me?
It's because you with your Tito's. But it's too thick and there's too much to it, and it clogs the toilet. Is problem that the Angel Soft is the perfect
and
balance.
See, all our listeners know that I'm a child and I just use whatever my wife
You have
buys.
no idea what.
I have no clue what happens. So, favorite stoner food.
Favorite stoner food.
Ooh, I like it.
Dude, oh man. Dude, that's like everything, man. It's like when you're stoned and you go to the grocery store to get a snack, you go to the sushi, and sushi is awesome. Okay?
My brother, just 2 nights ago, left here and got home, and the next day he said he texted me. He said, I woke up and apparently I stopped at Martin's and bought 2 salmon fillets and took them home and cooked them at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
But anyway, so sushi is one of your go-to?
Yeah. I mean, man, I have a vivid memory of like me and my friend, we got stoned like hell, like after a party, right? There's bodies all over the floor. We're like, we're going to go have a fucking breakfast, man. It's a festival for breakfast. So we go to the store and we bought everything but breakfast food. Like, dude, I think we had chocolate milk and that was the closest thing.
Right.
But yeah.
Chocolate milk and sushi.
Sushi. Yeah. Sushi was in there.
Yeah.
And I don't remember with half of the other shit we bought like fancy cheese.
Dude,
we spent like $80 on food that was not breakfast.
It was not what you were looking for.
No, yeah.
What's your favorite breakfast cereal?
Both. I'm a cornflakes guy.
Cornflakes.
I don't like sugary cereals. Oh shit! I'm supposed to say Count Chocula.
Well, no. You say I want to know what
Edit this quickly.
No. You said cornflakes. That's surprising, actually.
Yeah.
Do you put sugar on them?
No.
Just
cornflakes, man.
Yeah, Count Chocula. That's what he said. Count Chocula.
Count Chocula.
Yeah, it's in the interview.
Yeah, it's much funnier like that, but it's interesting that it's cornflakes. I actually don't know a human being that I've ever met in my life that eats straight corn. Like I would like some cornflakes, but if I did, I'd put some sugar in it or something.
Yeah. I used to. I mean, every now and then I'll dabble in sugar, but I don't even drink I drink like Diet Coke. Because I don't like the sugar. There's so much sugar, you can feel it on your teeth.
Right.
You know?
Now, is it a health thing, or you just don't like the taste of all the sugar?
Oh man, dude! I saw like my dad just like his idea of grocery shopping when we were kids was like Doritos, Snicker bars.
Right. Yeah.
We never had water or milk in the refrigerator. It was always Coca-Cola.
Right.
Or beer.
Right.
And so I grew out of the sugar stage like when I was like 15.
Right.
All right, I have a hotly debated one:
Oof.
Simpsons or Family Guy.
Ooh, man.
And think carefully because this could be a fight.
Right.
Yeah. Jeez.
It's a tough one, right?
Oh man, I love the formula for Family Guy. I love the cuts. I love the edits, the quick shit. It's so funny. It reminds me of Robot Chicken. There's always a little bit, right? But then the Simpsons have like some of like the most likable characters.
Right.
Grandpa.
Yeah, and it's iconic.
Yeah, and I don't know. The Simpsons just parodies like real life so well. Where Family Guy is just absurd. Yeah.
See, to me, those are apples and oranges.
Can I throw in Futurama on top, maybe somewhere?
Yeah, I guess
love Futurama.
Does that beat out both of them?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Look, we just said apples or oranges, and Freddie said banana.
Right. My favorite quote recently is when life hands you lemon haze.
I like it.
I don't know.
It's good.
All right. Last one, and then we're going to wrap this up. It's 2:00 in the morning. You roll up to Taco Bell.
Oh no!
What do you order?
I don't. I just keep driving.
I know Zach hates Taco Bell.
I hate Taco Bell.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fast food person either. But if it's 2:00 in the morning and I had to rope on a Taco Bell, oh man!
I would hope there's a Burger King next door.
Dude, I'm a fan of like getting as much as I can for like the cheapest amount, right? So I've been eating beefy Fritos nachos burritos for like years now.
Beefy Fritos
nachos burritos.
I don't know if I've ever had one of those.
Are
they amazing? They sound amazing.
Beef and Fritos in it. You can make it at home, or you can go to Taco Bell and buy yourself one for $1.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
You get 5 of them for $5, and no one needs to eat that.
They're only $1?
Yeah, dude. And they're like, I'm talking like, you could eat 2, and you're set for like 5 hours.
My wife is out of town.
Taco Bell could feed the world.
Right, yeah. My wife leaves tomorrow morning. She's going out of town for 4 days, so I'm on my own. And don't you think for a second I'm not going to Taco Bell to get me a beefy Frito.
You have to wait for the wife to leave?
Yeah, my wife's a health and fitness coach. So there's no Taco Bell around.
Comes with the territory.
Yeah, right. But when wifey's going like, I'll cook, I'll take care of it. Hey, last thing, for any of you that are around this area, we're gonna make Freddie come too, even if we've got to go pick him up. Zach and I have apparently we both had the same pipe dream our whole life that we just discovered like today.
Yeah,
that we have the same thing on our bucket list.
Don't set the date yet because we got to make sure the date works. But
I think we need to commit.
No, I got to make sure that it works first.
Oh,
I don't have a problem doing it. It might be that week or the next.
Okay.
Well, still don't know what you guys are talking
tentatively, we watch our social media. Zach and I both have always wanted to try one time
stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And so there's a club that we talked about, and Freddie's been there, called The Drop in downtown South Bend, Indiana, on Tuesday nights. They do open mic nights. And Zach and I are both going to get up on the same night. We're going to eat shit and check it off our bucket list. We're going to try to get Freddie up there, too.
That'd be dope. I'd do it.
He's got a connection that can get us in.
I can get us in there.
Oh, awesome.
So we're tentatively looking at, because the problem is Roy's a week out, but we're thinking about maybe like March 10th. If you can be around, we'll definitely let you know if that's going to be closer. But there'll be me, Zach, and Freddie.
That sounds like a hell of a time.
And we're all going to get up on stage and do 5 minutes of open mic.
Bomb hard.
And bomb real hard. And with that, Freddie, man, it has been awesome meeting you.
Thank you guys
we
so
need to stay in touch.
Man.
I feel like we're best friends now. We're going to stay that way forever.
I feel like I've just been in here for like 10 years now.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Thank you for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, and for sure, I mean, we'll stay in touch. But if your sister or whoever if you guys put together a GoFundMe for that driver's license, I think that is a worthy cause. Let us know. We will make sure we put it out to all of our people. Thanks for joining us, and Zach, as always, thanks for being my friend, buddy.
I love you, man.
Love you too, man.
Awesome.